Hey guys, I ended a 10 years old friendship and I do not regret, not a tiny bit. And this is the part 2 because the part 1 was too long and I decided to part them into. So if you haven't watched it, the first part is really important for you to watch because they explain how this friendship started and I told you a bit of what made me give up on this friendship. So watch part 1 first, then watch part 2, okay? But let's keep talking about what made me give up on this friendship, okay? And I stopped talking about how she judged people and things around us, and it was something that really hurted me at some point. I live in a very conservative city, and so what's different kind of makes people scared. People are very scared of the different. And she was one of these people. So she hated the ones who didn't, how can I say that? Who didn't play the same character as everyone. And she felt a bit uh, annoyed by it. So, as I said, when I started watching animes, she judged me a lot. This didn't keep happening after some years, but I noticed that she didn't like this part of me, so I had to kind of hide this part of me from her and do not talk about these animes and all because I knew she didn't like it and she didn't like talking about it with me and she was not open to this kind of thing. So she liked the same things as everyone, and if you don't like the same things as we won't talk about it. I won't try new things because of you. And I don't know, it's not so good when you're in a friendship like that, but this wasn't the worst part. For sure, it wasn't. Um, I told you that she used to ghost me sometimes, and sometimes she didn't ghost me, but she literally ignored me. And guys, this is terrible. It's really, you don't feel very good when you're being ignored for any reason. So last year I tried to watch it many new TV shows, and most of them she had watched it because they're pretty famous TV shows. I wanted to know new things, because I was very into weird things. So my favorite TV shows are Dark and Peaky Blinders, so many girls don't like this kind of shows, and I knew that. And she didn't like to talk about those shows with me because she didn't like in those shows. And since she didn't like it, she wouldn't talk about it with me. But then I started to watch shows that she liked. And every time I tried to talk about those shows with her, she didn't want to talk about it with me. So I sent her messages talking about my impressions on the characters or on the plot. And she was like, I can talk with you right now, so I will answer back later. And she didn't answer, and she completely changed the subject. So I felt like I was literally talking to myself sometimes when I messaged her, and she only wanted to talk with me about things she liked and not about the things I liked or I wanted, you know? And another thing that uh, really made me annoyed was because sometimes she treated me like I was dumb. And guys, I'm not a genius, okay? Me and Albert Einstein, we're really far away from each other. But I'm not dumb, okay? I like studying, I like learning new things. I'm always trying to learn something new or learn a skill. And even though it's been pretty hard to me recently, especially after depression, I feel like I got dumber for sure, but I'm not idiot. And sometimes she treated me like that, you know? Not sometimes, a lot of times. So she was always, every time I tried to talk about some subjects with her, she was like, let me correct you about this thing because I studied a lot about it. And don't get me wrong, but she didn't like to study, and I was like, okay, you studied about it. And also, every time I try to talk about some specific subject, she always tried to make me feel like she knew more about it than I do. So every time I was like, oh, I knew about something new, kind of trying to bring a new thing to her, present a new thing to her. She was like, I already heard about it. I already know about it. Like, girl, how can you find so many time of your day to learn about everything new that is happening in the world? I don't know because I'm too busy to be aware of everything, So it was so annoying, and it gets to a point. Another thing, this thing, it got me to the nerve. She lied a lot, and it wasn't the kind of lies that, for example, she was lying to me about something, No, she created stories that were too absurd to be true, And I hate when people think I'm idiot to believe it. So I remember once I saw a gossip about a celebrity. No, I will not say who, but it was a gossip about a British celebrity. And I was like, girl, I've heard that thing about this celebrity, and I would really like to know if it's true because it was a rumor. Probably it wasn't true, but I was there trying to initiate a conversation. And I was like, I'd really like to know if this rumor is true, but I had to know someone who is really rich and influent in London to tell me about it. And let me just remember, we live in Brazil countryside, okay? So what is the probability of some of us has contact with someone of high society from London? Like 0%, because sometimes we had to know how insignificant we were. And she told me that she knew someone from London high society to ask about it. And I was like, girl, I'm not idiot. I know you're lying. I know you're lying because like neither Londoners, a common Londoner, have access to London high society. Why does someone in Bahia's countryside would have? So it's an example because this kind of lies happened a lot. So she was always saying that she knew a lot of people, that she was friends with a lot of people from different countries and all, but how could it be possible? You know, like if we were from Sao Paulo, it would be more uh, credible than this. And I was like, girl, stop lying. I'm not idiot. I am not idiot, you know? And I hated it so much because I was like, I hate when people lies a lot. When lying, it's part of their personality. I hate it because it's really, really impossible. And also, um, she, another thing that I was saying, um, oh my gosh, now I'm a bit lazy today. I'm really sorry if my brain stops in some parts. But it was really, really frequent, this kind of lies, and I was like, no, girl, okay, another thing. Seemed like she was always hiding something from me, and it may sound dumb for me, but if you're in a relationship where you treat this person as your best friend and you share everything with this person and you fully trust this person, uh, it's not that this person is forced to treat you the same way, but we kind of expect it, because I'm telling you everything, I'm sharing you a lot of things because I trust you. And it seemed like she didn't trust me. And she was always hiding something from me. And after many years that she told me about those things, and it get to a point that literally I was like, girl, I don't recognize you because you've been hiding so many things from me that I feel like I was friends with someone totally different from what you were really like, because she was always hiding things from me. She was always hiding things she was doing and all. And after many years that she told me about those things, and I was like, what? Who are you? Literally, who are you? And she was always lying to me and hiding things from me. And I was like, girl, I fully trust you. why can't you trust me as well? What is lacking on me for you to trust me? Because if you don't trust me, I think that if you're in a friendship where you feel like this person doesn't trust you, I would be honest and I would um get away from this person because she's not forced to trust me. So what's the point of keeping me around if you don't trust me? You know what I get? Because if someone doesn't likes me, I don't feel people are forced to like me or trust me. But if I notice that this person doesn't like me or doesn't trust me, I distanciate myself from this person because sometimes we simply don't get along. But she kept me around the same way that she was always pretending to be someone else in front of me, and that makes me feel really sad, you know, because it was like we always had a wall between us, but she was the only person aware of this wall because for me she was by my side, you know and it's a bit sad to be honest. And there are other things that may sound dumb, but for example, she never let me get too close to her. So for example, she never invited me to any of her birthday parties. Some of them I didn't even know that happened because she didn't tell me. She never even asked me to visit her at her home. Never. And I called her to all of my birthday parties. She never came to any of these parties because every year she make an excuse to don't come. Every year, like it comes to a point that I thought, girl, out of all the days for you to have something to do, why is always on my birthday? You know, and another thing is that she also didn't like to come to my home, so I always invited her over my place, and she never came. It was like impossible because sometimes I was broke. Many times of my adulthood I was broke, and I didn't have money to go to a restaurant or go to the mall because it implies that I will have to waste money, and I didn't have this money to waste. And I was like, girl, come over here and we can watch a movie at my home. We can make a popcorn, we can make a recipe together. And she never wanted to come. Never. And I started to feel like, what's the problem with my home that you never want to come? And it may sound dumb, but we've been friends for 10 years, guys. It's literally 300, no, 3,000 days of friendship, and she never, almost 4,000 days of friendship, and she never invited me to her place. Never. And never invited me to a birthday. Never wanted to spend her birthday with me. And in when I noticed that in many friendships it was normal, like it's normal for you to spend your friend's birthday alongside with them. It's a normal thing. You invite your friends to um your birthday party. It's a normal thing. When I noticed that she never invited me, and I was like, girl, I think you're playing with me. you know and I started to rethink this whole friendship, and I was like, man, what what is this friendship like? Because we literally only talk through social media. It's not a real friendship, because a real friendship implies that we should hang out, that we should spend time together physically, that we should travel together. And seemed like she never wanted to do those things with me. And I started to see other friendships and see how other friends treat each other. And I was like, it doesn't seem right to me, you know? And well, um, another thing that happened a lot, and I noticed it was in this meanwhile of 6 months that we are not friends anymore, I started to notice some patterns in her behavior that made me a bit scared, you know? I don't know if that's the right word, but let's say I was scared because she was very uncertain about the things she wanted. And we are young, we're still finding out our place in the world. But in her case, it was a bit weird. And it's quite funny because she treated me like the weird one, but she was more weirder than I am. So basically, when it was in 2023, she wanted to learn about architecture and move to Europe and all those things. And I was always very supportive with my friends because I have many dreams, and I'm like, if I want my dreams to come true, I have to support others people's dreams as well. I always had that in mind, that it's not right for me to be you know desiring worse things to people who share dreams with me. No, I have to be supportive because the same way I want my dreams to come true, this person deserves her dreams to come true as well. So even though for me it didn't make any sense for her to wants to come to Europe because she never wanted live abroad. She never wanted. It was so sudden that she started telling about it with me that I was extremely surprised because she never wanted to live abroad. She never wanted to learn another language. She never wanted. She always wanted to live here in Brazil, go to a bigger city. This thing, I will have to say, it was real. But she never wanted to live abroad. And all of a sudden, she wanted to live abroad and wanted to learn about architecture. And I was like very supportive. I offered her any help because I speak English. She doesn't. So I was like, girl, if you want to help with English, I'm totally open to help you because I want your dream to come true. And I was very supportive. So, okay, in my mind, I had, okay, she want to go to Europe, learn another language, and study architecture. And I was very supportive. In the following year, all of a sudden, she didn't want it to be an architect anymore. She didn't want it that anymore. Now she wanted to be an artist. And that was when it really started to be weird to me because she hated art. I was the artist of the duo. I was the one who wanted to learn to be an artist because I am a no uh I'm not a professional, but I like designing clothes. I'm my dream is to be a fashion designer, so I know how to draw. I know a lot about art because if you want to create, you have to have a good repertoire. And I was very artist because of that. And she hated it. She was like, no, I hate arts. I don't want to learn about arts. And I went, fine. And all of a sudden, she loved the arts. The arts was her dream, that she wanted to be an artist. And I was like, okay, it's a bit weird. But as always, I was very supportive because I was like, no, I have to be supportive with her. And I supported her dreams the most as I can. But I thought that it was weird, And once I started to uh, think about it, and this year, if you remember, Charles Leclerc got married this year. And that was when I started to connect the pins, because Charles Leclerc dated a girl. I don't know her name, but he dated a girl, and she was an architect. And that was when she wanted to learn about architecture. But then he broke up with this girl, and he started to dating his wife. And his wife she has a art gallery, And that was when she decided that she wanted to learn about art. And I was like, she's trying to copy Charles Leclerc's girlfriends. And I was being scared. And I was like, girl, I am the crazy one for liking him. I may be a widow. I am a widow. I admit it. But girl, you're not very behind me. I'm really sorry, So because of that, I was like, this friendship was really weird. Oh my god. And for me, like the final trial, the end game to me was when it was in the beginning of this year. I was extremely sad. I was really getting really worse in my depression, especially because of that feeling, that I decided to look for mental health actively. So I started to doing therapy. I started to take medication. It was this year because I was very sad. I was extremely bad. And I started to talk about it with her because like she was my best friend, and I waited some kind of support at this moment. And I was talking to her like, I'm feeling really sad, I'll probably have depression. I never self-diagnosed me because I'm very conscious about it, and never took any medication without having a diagnosis from a professional. And I told her that I suspect that I may have depression because of my symptoms. And she was like, you don't have depression. And she said that with such a conviction. And I was like, what? And she was like, if you had depression, you could have barely left the bed. I think you hang out too much for someone who says it has depression. And I was like, girl, you've been following me through all these terrible years, all the time. I always shared with you every single moment. And now you're telling me that I'm lying, that I'm pretending. And I felt like trash that day, especially because I was feeling like shit back in the day. And I tried to vent with her, try to talk about it with her. And she wanted to talk about Charles Leclerc wedding. Charles Leclerc, I'm really sorry. I don't know you, probably will never meet you in person, but I hate you because you're part of my friendship band, okay? You're part of it. You're you're one of the reasons, okay, Charles Leclerc. But anyway, so I was like, it's not working to me anymore. It's not. I'm tired. I'm feeling terrible. I'm not happy in this friendship. And that's how I will finish this video. I'm telling you all of my personal things and all of the things that made me give up on a friendship, because if you're noticing similar traits in your friendship, it may be a signal for you to end this. Okay? Because a friendship has to be a relationship where you feel free to be yourself and where you feel loved and, supported and all, because the friendship is one of the few relationships you have in life that you won't have any expectation, because your parents, they love you if they're healthy parents, okay, they will love you unconditionally, but they have expectations on you. They have expectations on you. Your partner, they will love you like Lord loves the church. That's on the Bible. And but he will have expectations on you, because he will have they will expect from you some kind of fidelity and serve not service, and all those things. For this relationship to work, you have to donate a lot of yourself, the same way this person will donate a lot of themselves to you. So it's a relationship, but when it comes to friendship, you don't have these expectations. So if you have a friend, you can have other friends, and you're not cheating on this person because you have other friends, you know you can be yourself because this person will like you because you simply like each other, and you want one another to be part of each other's life because you like this person, you love this person simply because they are who they are. So a friendship has to be something soft. It has to be something, uh, you know how can I say that, something that is not a weight on your back. And if this friendship is making you sad, is draining your energy, and so maybe it's not worthy of you keeping this friendship. I know that sometimes a friendship will not end because of like a huge fight, No, but sometimes this friendship simply doesn't make sense to you anymore. And I was feeling like that in that friendship. It wasn't making sense to me anymore. And I was feeling sad every time I tried to talk to her and I opened my WhatsApp to answer, to reply her messages. I felt it. I felt such a sadness, especially in the last days. And our friendship was extremely toxic because my gosh, I summarized a lot in this video. But every year since the beginning of our friendship, we had a huge fight and we stopped talking to each other, and all of a sudden we talked to each other again. And it since the first time it happened, we shouldn't reconnect, And I remember it was in 2022, I decided to cut her out of my life, and she was the one who contacted me back again. And I shouldn't let her in anymore since there, but I let, and it was terrible. And also, another thing that I was going to tell you. Oh my gosh, I forgot. My mind is terrible today. But it's simply I wasn't feeling happy in this friendship anymore. Yes, I remember what I was saying. And it's funny because every time I tried to talk about those things that I told you in this video with her, she got extremely angry at me, and she didn't accept it, any criticism about her. So every time I try to talk about something we had that she disagrees on me, it turns out to be a huge fight, you know? And I felt like I was always belittling me to make her happy in this friendship, you know? And also, in the end of this friendship, I was like, I don't want to simply disappear from her life and ignores her and all, because I don't think it's a good thing coming from me, especially after 10 years of friendship. So I sent her a message explaining everything that made me um took this decision, and sent explaining all the things I told you in this video. I sent her a message talking about the things and explaining why I didn't want to keep this friendship with her. And I was like, I kind of owned her an explanation before I disappear. And she got extremely mad at me. She sent me a message literally uh, cursing me in a lot of ways, and she blocked me on everything. So you can see that even though I tried my best to finish things in a good way, she was the one who was the dramatic. So she blocked me on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and I thought it was extremely childish because I never thought on doing this. Even though I wanted to cut ties with her, I never thought of literally treating her like an unknown to me, But she wanted, and I will not step back, not now. And this year, my mantra to this year, I even answered a comment in the first part. You can see there. My mantra for this year is thank you next. This year is a year that I really rethink many of my relationships in my personal life, because I think that especially after depression, I've been letting people take control of me in a lot of ways where I'm not even myself anymore. I'm always living to, you know, make other people comfortable. And these people started to disrespect me. I felt disrespected in this friendship. I felt disrespected by my family. I felt disrespected by other people who lives around me and all. And I wanted to take back my control of my relationships and how people treat me. And it started this year with this friendship, so it's not easy. In this few 6 months, I felt extremely lonely. I won't deny. I have other friends. They're amazing people. I talk to them um a lot, but it's not the same relationship I have with her. And I kind of want someone like her in my life anymore, but not her. I want a new friendship where I can feel the way I felt in the good moments of this friendship. Someone I can tell everything about my life, I can share, but I also expect this from this other person. I want this person to come over my home. I want to hang out with this person. I want to chat with this person frequently and share these things with these people, and get the validation from a friendship, because I don't have this friendship right now in the current moment of my life. But I'm not looking for it as well, you know. So I may put a bit more of energy on this new friendship, but I still haven't found someone I fully trust to have this friendship right now. So I'm here. I'm trying to invest on, being a good classmate to my college classmates, being a good friend to these other friends I have, and being a good daughter and a good person in general. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it and understand what I said. If you disagree on something, you can freely share on the comments, and see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye.